What just happened inside that courtroom has Washington on edge tonight. A newly surfaced evidence packet allegedly links Ivanka Trump to a rapidly tightening legal timeline. And within minutes, Donald Trump went on full offense, blasting the process as politically motivated, while insiders say the judge wasted no time signaling the next move. This isn't just another legal headline. This could reshape the strategy around one of the most closely watched cases tied to the Trump orbit. And if you think this is just routine paperwork, think again. Because the timing, the names involved, and the courtroom reaction are raising serious questions across the political spectrum. According to multiple reports, prosecutors submitted what they describe as a supplemental evidence packet, a bundle of communications and timeline documents they argue clarifies who knew what and when. The material allegedly places Ivanka Trump closer to key decision points than previously outlined in public. IC filings. That matters because legal cases often hinge not just on actions, but on awareness and intent. When timelines tighten, legal exposure can shift dramatically. Legal analysts say the significance isn't necessarily about a single email or memo, it's about narrative control. If prosecutors can establish a continuous chain of involvement, it strengthens their broader argument. Donald Trump, never one to stay silent under pressure, responded almost instantly. In a statement and social media posts, he described the move as a desperate escalation and framed it as another example of what he calls weaponized justice. He insisted that his family members acted lawfully and transparently during their time in government and business. The speed of his reaction suggests his legal and communications teams were prepared for this possibility. For Trump, going on offense early is part of a familiar strategy. Define the story before opponents can shape it. Inside the courtroom, however, the most consequential signal may have come from the judge. Sources say the judge acknowledged receipt of the new material and indicated that scheduling adjustments could follow. That's significant because court calendars are strategic tools. Accelerated timelines can increase pressure on defense teams to respond quickly, while delays can give room to regroup. If the judge moves to fast-track certain hearings or motions, it could compress the legal window in ways that affect both preparation and public perception. Legal experts point out that supplemental evidence packets are not unusual in complex cases. They can include witness interviews, digital communications, or contextual documents meant to clarify intent. But when such filings involve high-profile figures like Ivanka Trump, the political implications amplify instantly. She previously testified in related proceedings and has often been described as seeking distance from the most controversial political battles surrounding her father. If prosecutors are indeed tightening the narrative around her timeline, it raises questions about strategy on both sides. For Trump's legal team, the priority will likely be challenging admissibility and relevance. They may argue that the materials are cumulative, mischaracterized, or lacking direct proof of wrongdoing. In high-stakes litigation, battles over procedure can be as decisive as arguments over substance. If the defense can slow down the court's acceptance of the packet or narrow its scope, it could blunt the immediate impact. But if the judge appears receptive, that signals a courtroom environment less tolerant of delay tactics. Politically, the optics are explosive. Trump remains a dominant force in American politics, and every legal development feeds directly into campaign narratives. Supporters often see these moves as attempts to sideline him, while critics argue they reflect long overdue accountability. Ivanka Trump occupies a particularly sensitive position, once a senior advisor in the White House, later stepping back from day-to-day political life. Her name re-entering the legal spotlight inevitably pulls her back into a national debate she appeared to be moving beyond. Timing is everything. And this evidence packet arrives at a moment when multiple legal tracks are unfolding simultaneously. That creates overlap in public attention and strategic decision-making. When one case accelerates, it can influence how resources are allocated in others. If the judge's next move comes swiftly, whether it's a hearing date, a motion ruling, or an evidentiary conference, it will shape not just this proceeding, but potentially the broader legal tempo surrounding Trump world cases. Exhale sharply. What happens next could unfold quickly. If the defense files an immediate response or motion to strike, we could see a rapid exchange of legal arguments. If the judge schedules an expedited review, cameras and commentators will focus intensely on every word from the bench. And if additional names or documents surface, the ripple effect could expand beyond the courtroom into the campaign trail and congressional corridors. For now, the key takeaway is this. A newly introduced evidence packet has allegedly tightened a timeline involving Ivanka Trump. Donald Trump responded at once, framing the move as aggressive and unfair. And the judge signaled that the court is prepared to move decisively in response. In high-profile legal battles, momentum can shift in a matter of days or even hours. Whether this development strengthens the prosecution's case or becomes another rallying cry for Trump's supporters will depend on what the documents actually show and how the court chooses to handle them. Stay with this story, because the next move could come faster than anyone expected, and when it does, it may redefine the legal and political landscape in one stroke.